So we're here with our friends from Esri, and good to have you here at MarkLogic World. We just had a great joint session, which we'll talk a little bit more about. But give me your name and what do you do at Esri?
Sure. So I'm Tim Murphy. I work at Esri out here in the National Capital Region, and I lead up our Contextual Intelligence Initiative, finding ways to connect all the data.
So what is Esri's mission in general?
Sure. So we do problem solving through GIS. And we have three core tenets that we follow. And the first one is we want to find ways to be able to serve our users. And our CEO said it best when he said, our job is helping our customers do their job. And we do that through building geospatial capabilities for them to be able to use our proper GISs. And our second part is advancing spatial literacy. A lot of people don't understand the power that they have at their fingertips when they have a proper GIS in front of them. And third, being able to frankly make the big blue marble that we're all on a better place. And by following those three core tenets, we've become a very successful company.
So that's pretty interesting. Obviously, you bring to the table a lot of capability. So on one hand, you have that, and on the other hand, you have MarkLogic and simplifying the process of integrating data silos. How do we help you fulfill that mission?
Sure. So MarkLogic has been a terrific strategic partner within what we do for ArcGIS, especially when it comes to dealing with sort of unconventional data types for a GIS. When we start getting into entity stores, when we start getting into unstructured documents, those can be tricky to work with. Having MarkLogic there with all of that information contained within is tremendously powerful for us to be able to derive location analytics.
So I've known you for a year now, and during that time you started working with MarkLogic, collaborating closely with our team in building new capability. Tell me a little bit about that. How's it been, learning about MarkLogic and leveraging all those things?
Oh, sure. And first, working myself in a company of people who are legitimately working full-time to try to make the world a better place, it is great to work with partners that feel the same way and are trying to do the same thing. Where I see, frankly, for what we're already doing now, it's very powerful. After the presentation, we kind of got mobbed by a lot of people saying, I want this now, and that's fantastic. But I still at the same time feel like we've only scratched the surface on what we're going to be able to do with this. Our ability to be able to bring geospatial location analytics coupled with big data unstructured questions that are also enriched by the triple store sitting within MarkLogic, I believe that there's a lot we're going to be able to do, and that's before we even get into the AI/ML side of this.
So tell me, without MarkLogic, what integration challenges do your customers go through? I mean, you're in the national security and defense areas of the business. Tell me a little bit about what they experience in bringing multiple data silos together.
Silos. It's all about the silos. Everybody is typically running a different type of standard because there's so many to choose from, and they have individual silos with different technologies, lots of data duplication, which is always a problem when you're trying to figure out, let's call it signal from noise. And that's the type of thing that when all that information can be linked in one central store, you get away from, frankly, a lot of unnecessary cost expenditure for everybody trying to roll their own at the server level.
Great. So let's get a little bit technical, and we have a couple ways in which we integrate MarkLogic with Esri that enable all this new next generation location analytics. Can you tell me a little bit about those two ways in which we integrate with Esri?
I'd be happy to. So we have two ways that we are integrating with MarkLogic for what we have on our side, which is of course ArcGIS, which is a very open, extendable platform. As we work with MarkLogic, we, Esri, have something called COOP, which is an open source way for different database capabilities to be able to work natively within ArcGIS. So MarkLogic has taken the initiative on their own to be able to bring in COOP so that any information sitting within MarkLogic can natively be brought into ArcGIS across the entirety of our platform. And that by itself is very powerful. In addition to that, ArcGIS Pro also now has a MarkLogic module.
By the way, ArcGIS Pro is like your power user tool.
Yes, so that is our desktop application used across the world. extremely powerful, typically for the GIS analyst, but we're also moving into other ways of using ArcGIS or ArcGIS Pro for specific roles and missions.
So how do we integrate with ArcGIS Pro?
Sure, so on the ArcGIS Pro side, we have the MarkLogic module, which is, I believe, coming up on our marketplace within Esri very soon, so that users are going to be able to download it, and then within ArcGIS Pro, they can connect to any MarkLogic store that they want to, and be able to ask unstructured queries against the MarkLogic store.
Something that doesn't currently exist normally in the
No,
platform.
not at all. And while we're on that, one of the things that's really powerful about this is it's twofold. One, it allows ArcGIS and ArcGIS Pro to be able to connect and extract geospatial information from unstructured where it would typically be trapped. And the other part that's very useful is when we start talking about the scales of data that especially the intelligence community or the Department of Defense or even any Fortune 500 company is dealing with for unstructured, this is a different way to be able to find that document that would otherwise be sitting in some virtual share drive somewhere collecting dust. To be able to say, I care about this region of the world, I care about these keywords, I care about anything related to the following entity, that's a very powerful query and a whole new way to be able to go through unstructured.
That's fantastic. One of the new things you guys are working on is this thing called ICAP. Oh,
Yes.
at least that's the abbreviation. Can you tell me what ICAP stands for and what is it?
I am extremely excited about ICAP. ICAP is our intelligence configuration for ArcGIS Pro. So take ArcGIS Pro and all the power that it has for helping users across the world, and then streamline it by intelligence analysts for intelligence analysts, and be able to make all the types of sort of workflows and functions and common needs that an Intel analyst would need, and just put it right at their fingertips.
How does MarkLogic complement ICAP?
Sure. So the semantic nature of the information that already exists within MarkLogic, plus the unstructured store, which every Intel analyst has an unstructured problem. They have access to unstructured, but when you're dealing with millions and billions of documents or files, I mean, is it really accessible at that point? And that's where the combination of ArcGIS Pro, especially running ICAP, with the new MarkLogic module and a MarkLogic unstructured store on the backside, we're able to now go through unstructured in a whole different way and then visualize the triples, visualize the nodal analysis that comes out of those documents, or the semantic store sitting inside of MarkLogic, and visualize it straight in ArcGIS Pro using ICAP.
Excellent. Well, Tim, it's been great having you here on MarkLogic. It's fantastic collaborating with you, bringing some of these new capabilities to market. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having us.